Just closing your eyes. Settling into your body, settling into this moment. And settling into your breath. And letting the breath really explore the body. Right, looking for the places that are open, accessible. And the places that would like a little more movement. So we may not have lung tissue in all parts of our body, but there is a certain, when you draw your attention, certain accessibility that you feel, right? There's a fullness in the breath in certain areas. See if you can soften and allow that to transfer or translate or help the areas that feel less accessible. And let's just take a few breaths right after your next exhale, completing your exhale. Inhaling through the nose. Soft, diffuse, expansive. And exhale through the mouth. Again, complete the breath, but soft and diffuse. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, as if filling your whole body. Within and even around your body. And as you exhale through the mouth, just keeping that fullness, that buoyancy, that lightness. As you exhale. Palms together in front of your heart. Just acknowledging that kind of dropping into nourishment. And any other tending that is needed, just acknowledging that. And then using our Om as an offering to ourselves and to the world. And stretch your legs forward. Okay, so simple. We're just going to start on the back for a few moments. Laying on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Okay, so ribs heavy, pelvis heavy. Just gonna lift the heels off the floor. Keep the ribs and the waist heavy. Start to peel the toes up, knees towards the chest. So letting that movement of the thighs towards the ribs help curl the pelvis under, right? So the tailbone scoops up right into the backs of the knees. And then slowly keeping that sense of weight, heaviness in the torso as the toes come back to the floor, just the toe tips. And then again, waist heavy, tailbone starts to initiate towards the pubis as the thighs move towards the chest. This time let the legs extend, bringing the toes up towards the ceiling. And then bend. Again, waist heavy, pelvis heavy, ribs heavy, toe tips. Just touch the floor and then come back up. Again, where do you initiate from? Notice, right? If you're using back muscles, can you keep the waist heavy? Use abdominals, little pelvic floor. Thighs come closer to the ribs, toes to the ceiling. And then can you keep scooping the tailbone towards the pubis? Maybe scoop the whole back of the pelvis off the floor. And then roll it down. Keep the waist heavy. Toe tips just touch the floor, waist heavy. And then come back slowly. Again, rolling that tailbone towards the pubis. Thighs towards the chest. Feet towards the ceiling, even towards the face. Scoop the pelvis up, and maybe even think about reaching the legs overhead. Then one more, waist heavy, pelvis heavy, toes touch the floor. Let's take the arms overhead this time. And again, initiate from pelvis, scooping the tailbone up. Pubis towards the navel as that tailbone scoops towards the pubis, toes up, and then maybe just curl the feet up and over towards the hands. And then slowly, slowly roll down. Slow, slow, slow. Good. And then keeping the legs overhead, just take hold of the backs of your thighs. We're just gonna rock up, just sit. All right, just standing with your feet slightly, just a little distance apart. Just again, feeling the placement of your body, the movement of your breath. Maybe even just kind of maneuver around, make a little circle around your feet, right? Shifting to the right slightly, to the outer periphery of the feet, forward to the toes, outer left foot, heels, change direction. Right, so you know where your periphery is. And then come to center and see if you can find where that is. It's a vertical line from feet to crown. Let's take the arms out and up towards the ceiling, keeping the palms facing forward to start and the neck nice and long. And then turning the palms towards each other, lifting the face, look up. Palms together, dive the hands up. And then arms apart, hinging at the hips, fold over your legs. Good, let's walk the hands forward, keeping that sense of a flat back, maybe even bend the knees a little bit, just to keep the sitting bones lifting. And then letting the back round, long round arc over the legs. Good, hands by your feet, bend your knees, let's step the right leg back into a lunge. Back knee to the floor, top of that right foot on the floor, and letting your weight come up to your fingertips as your hips get low. Right, think about the base of the pelvis moving forward. And then roll the hands back down, back toes under, downward dog. Good, right foot forward between the hands, back knee down, top of the foot on the floor. Again, maybe up on fingertips as you let the hips sink down and forward. Good, maybe the breastbone lifts just a little. Good, breath easy. Again, exhale. Every once in a while, just think about completing the exhale. Emptying the body of breath. Palms down, back toes under, downward dog. Good, emptying the breath, allowing for a fuller inhale, as well as a complete exhalation. Inhale to a plank pose. Just shifting your weight to the right, right foot and right hand, shifting your weight to the left. And then making a little circle, right, initiating from your feet around, right, to the right, forward, left, back, to the left, forward, right, back. And come center. Let's take knees down, taking the ribs between the hands, sliding, right, the pubis down into the floor and the breastbone forward and up, baby cobra. Pubis heavy. Good, back toes under, downward dog. Okay, lifting the hips high up, scooping the hips back. Let's walk the hands back to the feet. Good, and then let's walk the hands over to the right. So I'm turning to the right with the upper body and the feet are staying put. And then come back to center and I'm just going to walk the hands over to the left. See what's over there. Feet heavy. Back to center one more time to the right. Right ribs pulling to the right hip. Left side of the ribs long. And swing around to the left. Good, and come through center and bring the hands to the hips. Start to draw the breastbone forward, crown of the head forward, come up halfway, flat back. And then let the hips start to pull forward. More weight in the ball of the foot as you come up. Okay, arms out and up. Good, palms forward for a breath. And then lifting your gaze, palms together. Arms out to the side, flat back, fold over your legs. Let's walk forward to a plank pose. Again, maybe a little circle around the hands. Just warming up the feet, right? And change direction. And then hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Good, right foot to your hands. So I'm going to turn my left heel in or towards the right side of the mat, down to the mat. And take that left arm up to the ceiling. Right, extended side angle variation. And then I'm going to take that left hand and just reach it down towards the floor and in front of me and then back towards that left shin. As if I could touch the back of the calf. Just going to slide that right arm to the inside of the foot. And then take that left arm back up to the ceiling. Turn the whole rib cage, look up. And again, reaching left arm back. So as I do that, let the back round, back body get nice and wide, fullness in those back ribs. And then keep that fullness as you bring that left arm back up. One more. Left arm reaching back, get nice and round. Or maybe the right arm even bends a little bit. Tuck under that right leg. And then left arm up again. This time, turn the palm towards the crown of the head, left arm alongside the ear. Full pose. And then turn left hand to the floor. Let's pick that left heel up. So left palm down on the left side of the mat, right arm up to the ceiling. And then again, let's do a rounded shape. So let's bring that right arm under, between the right leg and the left hand, reaching back towards that left knee or shin. And then back up to the ceiling. And then again, reach through, under, or inside the right leg, towards the left foot. And then back up to the ceiling. Last time, reach through, right shoulder, deep under that right leg. Maybe even tuck the shoulder and the knee towards each other. And then again, bring that right arm up. Good right hand to the floor, inside of the foot. Downward dog. Good left foot to your hands. And turn the right heel into the left and down. Toes are still pointed towards the front of the mat. So right arm up to the ceiling. So first one, that left hand's on the outside of the leg. And then let's round the back. Little cat shape. Reaching towards that right inner foot. And then just slip the left hand on the inside of the foot and let's take that right arm back up to the ceiling. Good. Can you still feel that fullness in the back body? And again, round. Maybe even drop. Bend that left arm, drop towards the floor, round. And then unfold. Reaching that right arm up. Turn and look up. And again, right arm down through to the back leg. Folding over into the both legs. And then uncurl. Right arm up. Look up, palm towards the crown, right arm alongside the ear. And then again, round. Right hand comes to the floor. Lift that back heel. Right palm down. Left arm up. You can always use a block under your right hand if that feels more appropriate. Okay, left hand now comes between that left leg, right hand, reaching towards the back shin, really tucking that left shoulder inside the left leg. And then left arm up. Again, finding more fullness in the back body to find the rotation. More space, more breath. Left arm up. And again, reaching through. Again, maybe knee tucks against the shoulder, shoulder against the knee. And then come back up. Reach up, look up. Left hand down inside of the foot. Downward facing dog. Good, full breath. Again, feeling that relationship to the back body, back ribs. Any sense of movement. Inhale, plank pose. Good. And let's actually come back to downward dog for a moment and let's scoop through. Right, so let your plank lift. Right, so your pelvis lifts, your spine lifts, and roll through to an upward facing dog. So again, you're rounded, and let that fullness in the back body come with you as you take the sitting bones forward. As you start to tip the pubis up, as you start to lift the pubis, the breastbone, the face, keeping that width and fullness in the back body. Hips up and back, downward dog. Good, bend your knees, lift your hips. Let's actually bend the knees, drop the butt back towards the heels. It's like a little froggy position. Straighten the legs, bend, drop the hips back, and straighten again. Bend the knees, drop the hips back. And then if you'd like, just spring off the feet, lift the hips up, send the feet forward, any amount. Hold over your legs. Hands on your hips, flat back. And all the way up. Yay. Okay, and then we're gonna come onto the floor. So if you have carpet, you'll be fine. If you don't have carpet, maybe lay a blanket. Oh. Okay. All right, so knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Okay, and I'm just gonna bring my arms alongside my body. And I'm gonna use my feet, and again, if the blanket is too slippery, you can come back onto your sticky net, but I'm gonna press into my feet and start to lift my hips up and my right arm up. And keep lifting the hips up. And I'm gonna roll onto the left shoulder as I reach that right arm overhead. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Feet pressing into the floor, hips lifting. Rolling onto the top of the left shoulder if I can, and then slowly roll back down. Okay, and then I'm gonna straighten that left leg, and I'm gonna take that left arm out to the side, bending the right arm. And similar, I'm gonna press into that right leg now. So hips are gonna stay on the floor, but I'm gonna reach that right arm up and again to that almost back corner. So I'm rolling now onto the left, almost outer shoulder, upper arm. Right foot stays on the floor. Sole of the foot stays down as I press into that foot and turn the pelvis. And then slowly roll back onto the back. Bend the left leg again, arms alongside the body. So left arm leads, right? So as I press into the feet, the left arm lifts. And I'm rolling up onto that right shoulder. Right, so slightly to the outer shoulder. The right side of the head is on the floor, and that left arm is reaching overhead. Again, feet are pretty solid, hips lifting. I'm just compressing a little onto that upper kind of shoulder cap muscle, and then slowly come back down. Okay, right arm out to the side. Left arm bends. So I'm just going to straighten that right leg. So similar, except the pelvis stays on the floor. So I'm just going to press into that left foot, reach that left arm up and over to that same corner. Left foot on the floor. But the left hip is moving forward. Again, a little compression on that outer upper arm on the right side. And then slowly roll back onto your back. Bend the right leg. Okay, let's do it again. Arms alongside the body. So, pressing into the feet, right arm lifts, rolling onto that left side, onto that left shoulder. So the left arm is reaching towards the feet as that right arm reaches towards the back wall. Good, feet heavy, hips lifted, and then slowly roll down. Straighten the left leg, left arm out to the side. You can also take the left arm up, right, slightly higher than the shoulder. And you can play with the angle. Bend that right arm. Again, as I press into the right foot, taking that right arm up and over, reaching again to that back wall. So this time I'm going to let that heel lift on the right foot and just maybe balance on the right toe and press into the toe, but send the hips to the left. And then slowly roll back over that left shoulder onto the ribs. Good, bend the left leg, feet on the floor. Arms alongside the body. Left arm lifts. As the hips lift, rolling onto that right shoulder. Rolling. So that right arm is reaching towards the feet, just a little, as that left arm reaches towards the back wall. Again, just so you don't feel like you're compressing your neck, right? You're on the side of your head, but you're really on your shoulder. And then slowly roll back down. Straighten that right leg again. Bend the left arm. Hips turn, right? Push into that left foot. Hips turn to the right. Left arm reaches to that back wall slightly to the right. Again, you can play with the movement of your arm. Maybe the arm straight out to the side, maybe that right arm is slightly up. So again, you end up compressing that upper arm. The heel lifts on the left foot, maybe you're on your left toe tip, big toe. Turning the pelvis towards the floor, turning the ribs towards the floor. And then slowly, maybe even let that left arm trace around the head as you roll back onto your back. Knees bent. Okay, one more. Last one. Arms alongside the body. Press into the feet. Right arm up to the ceiling. Right arm reaches over. So maybe that left palm can come towards the floor. Maybe, right? Just a different access into that left shoulder. And then slowly roll down, straighten the left leg. Again, either left arm straight out to the side or slightly up. And this time, pressing into that right foot, coming right onto the toe, reaching that right arm up to the back wall and over to the left. So this time I'm just gonna play with trying to walk that right foot closer to the butt and closer to the shoulder. So it depends on your knee. You can either rock back for a moment with the foot close to you and the heel up, or you can try to flip the top of the foot on the floor and come back towards a Supta Virasana. Maybe the knee doesn't come all the way to the floor. Maybe it does. And then press into the top of the right foot. Turn again, reach. And let's release that right leg out to the side and let it pull you. Straight right leg, pull you back onto your back. So you end up almost in an X. Almost. Okay. Other side. Bend your knees, arms alongside your body. Press into your feet. Left arm lifts, rolling up onto that right shoulder, reaching that left arm to the back wall. Maybe the right palm turns down for a moment. And slowly roll back down. Straighten your right leg. Right arm either out to the side or slightly up. Press into that left foot. Left arm up and over. Come right up onto your toe tip. Keep turning the pelvis to the right. And then again, maybe walk the toe tips closer to the butt, closer to that left shoulder, and either keep the heel up and come back for a moment, dropping the hips back, ribs back, or tuck the toes under, slide the foot up towards the shoulder, come more into a half virasana, and lay back. Again, find what's accessible for your body. And then press into the top of the foot. Reach that left arm away from the left foot. Straighten the left leg and let that left leg pull you back onto your back. Left arm can roll around the shoulders. Right? Just letting gravity have you. Good, and then just feel your body, what feels more awake, alert, present. Right, feeling tissues, cells alive. Good, and then roll onto your side and come up to sit. Okay, all right. So soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Good. And then let's actually for a moment cross the shins. So now I'm actually walking the feet far away from each other. So the knees come together. And just pause there for a moment. Keep walking, maybe reach through the heels or maybe point the toes. Just keep reaching the feet away from each other. And then soles of feet together, knees out to the side. And then change. So whatever leg was behind, bring that one in front, walk the feet away from each other. So then thighs come closer and closer to each other. Keep reaching either through the heel or through the point of the foot. Keep reaching. And then release. Soles of the feet together. Okay, so my feet are a little distance apart. Or apart away from my pubis. I'm just going to take right hand to the floor, left arm up to the ceiling, and I'm just going to lean. Right, let that right arm bend, lean into that right hand, and maybe even lean onto the right butt. Let the left butt come off the floor. And then I'm going to round my back, turning my belly button towards my right thigh. Still reaching through left arm. And then turn back to face front. That simple side bend. And then press into the right hand to come up. Left hand down, right arm up and over. So now tip to the left. Right hip can come off the floor. Good, feeling again, just that sense of space between the ribs on that right side and some movement from your breath, turning, rounding over that left leg. Turning the belly button to the left, reaching through that right arm. And then come back into your side bend. Good. And then just think about the right hip getting heavy as that right arm reaches away. And then come up to sit. And then right hand down, tipping to the right, maybe on your right elbow, if that's accessible, or on a blanket or on a block. Maybe let the head drop. So right now my left hip is slightly off the floor, hanging down, turning belly to the right, towards the right thigh. Again, widening, rounding, spreading the back. Back into the side bend. Left hip starts to sit towards the floor as the left arm reaches away. And then up, over to the other side. Left forearm down. Right arm up and over. Again, turning towards the left leg, rounding, turning. Just feeling that movement or opening in the back body. Come back to the side bend. Right hip heavy as the right arm reaches away. Good, and actually this time I'm going to come through the round and I'm going to reach. I'm going to let that right arm reach out to the left, forward and left. Straight forward, left arm will follow. Turning to the right. Rounding over the right leg. And then opening up into that side bend. And then let's come back the way we just came in. Turning to the right, reach that left arm out to the right. Forward and right. Straight forward. Good, to the left. Still rounding over that left leg. And then open up to your side bend. Good, one more time. Round. Reach. Good, keep reaching as you pivot around the legs, reaching forward and right. Right hand down. Left arm up and over. Side bend. Good, left hip heavy. And come up to sit. Oh. I always feel taller because my waist is very short. Okay, all right. Let's play with a little bit of rolling. Rolling, rolling. Okay. So again, you can, if you want the stickiness, you can use your sticky mat. So I'm just going to start a little crab. Little crab. And then press into the hands and feet, lift the hips up and just slide the hips forward. Maybe walk the feet forward a little bit more, slide the hips forward. Just getting a stretch through the underside of the form, front shoulder, and come back. Good. Feet a little further forward. Good, hips up, slide the hips forward. Again, getting that front shoulder, palm of hand. Spread those fingers, press the finger pads down, and come back. Turn the hands now, so fingers face out. Same thing, hips up and forward, right? Just a different stretch through that front shoulder, through the hands, and come back. Turn your hands back now, fingers face back. Lift the hips, slide, hips forward. Good, and back. Good, and then palms forward or slightly out to the side, your choice. I'm just gonna, again, shift the hips forward, and this time I'm gonna lift the hips up. Parsvottanasana with the knees bent. And then scoop the hips back, and again, forward and up. Maybe lift the heels up and lift the thighs up. Lift the hips up. Lower the heels down. Keep the hips up and bring the hips back. One more. Again, change hand position if you need to. Slide the hips forward and up. Heels up. Thighs up, hips up. Heels down. And come back. Okay. All right, so legs forward. So simple, simple. Hug the legs into each other. And I'm just gonna slowly round Right, sending the tailbone forward, and I'm going to round down. And arms come overhead. Good. I'm going to let my arms bend, slide my hands alongside my body, then round back up. And round forward, folding into the legs. Good. And then reach past the legs, starting to elongate the spine. And slowly come up, flat back. Fold back over the legs, reach long, 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 and then at a certain point you start to round. And then start to round even more. And you're going to curl up and keep the rounding as you roll back. This time arms alongside the body, the legs come with, legs scoop up towards Sarvangasana. Legs over to the floor, hips lower, and roll up to sit. Yay! Okay. Squeeze the feet towards each other. Roll back. Arms overhead. Bend the arms, bring the elbows by the body. Slide the hands alongside the body to come up. Keep going, round over the legs. Kind of a rounded Paschimottanasana, and then reach past the feet. Elongate the spine. Come up through a flat back. Come down through a flat back. Keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching. Let the back round towards the end. Good, and then keep the roundness as you roll all the way back. Arms alongside the body, hips come up to the ceiling. Legs up, Sarvangasana variation. And then roll the hips down. And roll all the way back up to sit. Cross the right leg over the left leg. Same thing. Squeeze the legs towards each other, but pull the feet apart and round down. And arms overhead. Bend the arms and round. Round up and over the legs. Reach past the legs. Reach, 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 reach. Come up through a flat back. Come down through a flat back, round at the end. And then follow the roundness all the way down, arms alongside the body. Lift up, keep squeezing the legs together, change the cross of the legs, and then slowly roll down and up to sit. So now the legs are crossed the opposite way. Let's do it again. Okay, rounding down, arms overhead, ribs to the floor. Bend the arms, slide the arms alongside the body to come up, round over the legs. Reach past the legs. Come up through a flat back. Come down through a flat back. Round over the legs. And then round back to the floor. Arms come to the floor, hips come up, legs up. Change the cross of the legs. Squeeze, lift a little more. And then roll down and Paschimottanasana. Okay. All right, and let's just try a couple roll up, switch, roll down. Okay, right leg crosses. All right. We'll start arms up. Roll back. Arms stay on the floor, legs up and over, Sarvangasana. When you're up, switch the cross of the legs, roll down, and back up to sit. Arms up, roll down, arms on the floor, legs up, change the cross of the legs, roll down, and up. Okay, now let's try taking the arms over, keeping the arms overhead. Right, so arms up, roll down, arms overhead, legs up and over, lift, lift to the ceiling, squeeze the legs together, change the cross, lower the legs, roll up to sit, lift, and release. One more time. Lift, round, arms are overhead, legs swing up, lift, lift those legs, change the cross, lower the legs, roll down, up to sit, reach up, and down. Oh, okay. Right, just making it a little elegant, I guess. All right. Okay, so hands slightly behind you, kind of a loose crab shape, feet wide. And I'm just gonna let the knees tip to the right. And as they do, press into the feet and let the pelvis keep turning to the right. Then back through center, knees to the left. Press into the feet, let the hips keep turning to the left. Again, feeling that stretch through the shoulder, maybe front hip, and back to center. Knees to the right. So this time I'm gonna lean on that right hand, left arm to the ceiling. I'm just gonna let that left leg swing forward around the right leg and swing back. And swing forward and swing back. One more, forward and swing back. Left hand comes back to the floor. Let your weight drop back for a moment. And then knees up and over to the other side. Again, I'm going to lean on that left hand. Right arm up to the ceiling. Just going to let that right leg swing forward and back. And swing forward. Again, you can change the arms if it feels good. And forward and back. Good, dropping that right hand back again. Let the ribs drop back a little bit. And then come back up to center. Let's do one more time each side. So right, knees to the right. Right hand down, left arm up. Slide that left leg forward so it straightens when it's around the right leg. And then as you come back, it bends as if coming towards Virasana. And then forward and back. Again, you can let the arms play with the movement. One more, maybe they go opposition. Right, as the leg goes forward, the arm goes back. Good, and then come back through center and over to the other side. Left hand down, right arm up. Like it's not staying. Swing that right leg forward and back. And forward and back. And forward. And again, just feeling it through the body, feeling the movement of the pelvis, the spine, the front hip, the shoulder. Last one. And come back onto your back. Okay. Right. Last thing, gonna let the knees fall to the right, press into the right hand, left leg swings around, and then pressing into the right shin, left foot round over to the right. Little weeping willow, and then drop the hips. Left leg swings back, come through center, other sides. Turning left. Right leg swings around, pressing into left hand, left knee, right foot, rounding over or into or around the empty space between all the limbs. And then lower the hips, swing around, other side, right? So as that right leg comes back to center, knees fall right, left leg swings to the right, press into the right hand, right knee, round, right? As if you're holding the negative space, like a big orb. Dropping that right hip, left leg swings back to center. One more time, right leg to the left, press into the left hand, lift, and round, and lower, and come back to center. Okay. All right, last thing, much different shape, but we're just gonna play with it. Wall. And again, not a lot of effort, so keeping that fluidity that we just found on the floor. Hands on the floor. I'm gonna take the right leg up to the ceiling, and I'm again just gonna think about almost kicking that left heel towards the butt, right? I really just wanna play with weight, shifting weight into my hands, hips over shoulders. And then come down and try it again. Other leg, left leg up. Again, maybe just kicking the butt, right heel to butt. Couple times, just feeling. The last 2 times, again, maybe just play, right? Getting the legs, one leg up as one leg comes down. As the right leg swings up, the left leg responds by moving in the opposite direction. Counterbalance. Right, does that opposition help you find your center? Good. When you're ready, come back to downward dog. Good. Knees to the floor. Child's pose. Good. And slowly, hands under your shoulders, and roll yourself up to sit. Okay. Right, so let's just grab strap, blanket. I'm gonna roll my blanket back up. Maybe have 2 blankets, so you can put one over you. Okay. So I'm just gonna roll up my blanket and put it off to the side. And make a loop with my strap. Right, so it's not gonna go on the shoulders, but it's about a little narrower. It's about shoulder distance apart when you wrap it around the arms, right? The arms end up shoulder width, roughly. We can change that. Good, pelvis heavy, feet heavy. Good, walk the feet a little closer to the pelvis. Just start to shift the weight towards the ball of the foot, pulling the knee to the toes, past the toes, peeling the thighs up, back of the pelvis up, and slide one block under the pelvis at the lowest height. Good, and I'm just going to hold onto the block, lift my ribs, pull my ribs away from the block, right? So the back of the pelvis is heavy on the block, so it's as if I'm stuck to the block with my pelvis and I contraction the lower back. Set the ribs back down. Lower back should feel pretty light. Good, there might even just be a sense of lightness towards the back end of the block, the foot side of the block, a little more heavy weight towards the head side of the block. Okay, and then I'm going to walk my feet a little closer to the block. Again, shift weight into the balls of the feet. Start to pull the knees towards the toes, and I'm actually going to even lift the heels. And as I take the knees towards the toes, start to peel the thighs up. Lift the hips up and take that second block, lowest height, and bring it under the pelvis on top of this first block. It's quite a bit of opening in that front hip. So if it feels too much, you can either keep the heels off the floor for a few breaths and slowly descend the heels, walk the heels out, and if it's still too much, then take one block out and turn the second block up on its side, or the block that's on the floor on its side. Same thing, I'm just going to brace or hold the block, lift the ribs, scoot the ribs away from the block, which may tip the blocks a little, right? So that the side of the block close to the feet is almost off the floor, which is fine. Good. Just breathing, slow breath in, slow breath out. If you want, you can even stick your fingers under the back end of the block that's light. Good. And let's just take one foot off the floor, bringing the knee up over the pelvis. Other foot off the floor, bringing the knee over the pelvis. Again, letting the spine feel long. Good, let's actually open the knees out to the side and then maybe extend the legs out to the side if that feels appropriate. Wide legs. Good, just a simple movement. Maybe the right leg starts to move back towards the bottom of the mat as the left leg starts to come forward towards the head side of the mat. So now I'm almost in a scissor split. Left leg forward, right leg back. And then just slowly come back to the wide straddle. And other side. Right leg forward. Left leg back. Just feeling the clarity in the legs, the ease in the breath. Coming back to that wide straddle again. Let's bend the knees again. Knees are still wide but bent. Just feeling that Like asking for the tissue between, right, inner thighs, pelvic floor, just to soften. And knees slowly back together. Good. So letting, again, here, your spine is floating, but can you keep the waist heavy and the ribs heavy as you bring the feet back to the floor? Again, maybe it's just the ball of the foot. Maybe walk the foot out, get the heels down. Maybe take the arms overhead. Good, maybe even just straighten the legs for a breath or two. Again, waist is still heavy, or I'm not changing the shape of the pelvis and spine in order to extend the legs. So I'm not forcing a shape. I'm just changing where the shape changes, right, front of the hip as opposed to the lower back. Bend the knees. Good, arms alongside the body. Lift the heels up, walk the feet close to the block. Send the knees away from the face. Lift the thighs, hips, slide one block out. Slowly, segmentally roll the spine down. Pelvis on the block. Pause. And again, anchor the feet, shift more weight to the ball of the feet. Lift the heels if you need to. Thighs up, pelvis up. Slowly roll the spine down. Yay. Okay, so roll to your side, come up to sit. We're just gonna take our props. Right, so blanket goes under thighs and you get to play with. So I'm gonna end up with my feet on my blocks. And you can do the opposite. You can put your blanket under your heels and your blocks under your thighs if you would like. And just figure out the place that works right for your blanket. Is it higher up or closer to the knees, closer to the calves? What feels right? And then I'm going to take my strap around my thighs and just cinch the strap up so my legs feel supported. Right? They're not going to roll out to the side, but I don't want to overly force them in either. You can always open it up or keep it loose, and you can always cinch it tighter. And then hands behind and slowly lower onto the forearms, letting the ribs sink towards the floor and settle away from the pelvis. And then lower down. Blanket over you. Forgot that part. It's harder to throw it on when you're laying down, but then arms alongside the body, palms down or up. And then let your legs be where they are. So if the lower leg still rolls out, that's fine. Just letting the body feel the support, respond to the support, but not try to manage it. Right? That there's no perfection. Like the perfection is your body's response. Your body's saying it's happy. Like that's perfection. That it feels right, that it feels good. And aware of your breath, maybe a much softer breath. And feeling the back of the pelvis start to settle, the thighs start to settle. The lower legs and feet. Feeling the upper back, shoulders, upper arms, forearms, hands start to settle. The whole torso, pelvis, abdomen, rib cage, throat, head. Again, dropping into that sense of nourishment. Like whether it starts to well up inside of you and expand, or whether it starts to fill out around you. You almost permeate in. Like thinking of the warmth of the sun on your skin, or the warmth moving through your body. And letting the awareness of it expand. So if it's within you, can it fill all of you? And if it's surrounding you or beaming down on you, can it surround you fully? And letting it get so full and rich that it starts to just create a different experience. Maybe there's more sense of beauty or space or softness. Maybe there's more of a sense of alignment with that quality. Right? A recognition and response. Just feeling bathed in beauty, bathed in warmth. And whatever source of nourishment, whatever other source of nourishment shows up. And just in the last few moments, it just almost a sense of the blooming of flowers or blossoms. Again, maybe just the image of it within or around you, or both. Like the brightness and beauty, the smiling flowers. Just that quality, just bathing in the quality that you feel. Just feeling how you respond in your body and your breath and your heart, your being, your spirit. And then wiggling fingers and toes. Just bending your knees. And slip your strap off. Roll onto your side. And draw yourself up to sit. If you need to stay down, please stay down. And just the awareness of your breath